Every seat by the window, I need the whole back of the bus. Everybody, move over. You too, slide your feet over. Everything by this window, I need this. All these seats. Move over, thank you. Excuse me, thank you. Look. He deserve an EGOT, he hot, color like a peacock. Idiot, slapper, scrapper, mad rapper, D-dot. Bad dopper, clapper, bad rapper. 3 shots, lethal weapon, lethal injections through off your T-top. JFK smiling down through the treetops. Like hold your head, my nigga, wait for the beat drop. Old niggas wagging fingers like it's bebop. Cowboys and girls whistling world like it's teapots. My pen to make your arm heavy G-shot. While your mom trolling steady on the G. 1 2 1 2. Good morning, guys. Good morning, guys. We are here in the building once again. How we looking? How we looking? What's the word? Couch potatoes. Listen, candy of the lands. We are here. I think this episode 7. How we looking? How we cooking? This, that, and the third. The morning show. We still popping, gang. We still alive and cooking. I don't know if they believed or we believed. I believed. Listen, man. We got a good one today, man. Listen, let me see who on the check-in. Cookie the Snitch. One of the best names, man, I think I've ever seen. I'm going to be honest. P&W Niche. Naj. The Journey. Couch Potato. We getting here early, gang. Tom. What's good? Bethany. What's good, gang? Listen. Good morning, man. Good morning. I hope you had your coffee with that good cream. I hope you had your espresso, whatever you thinking. What's good, Ashley? Bag lady. All right. Listen. So you see me looking up because I raised my monitor up. So it's a couple changes around here, gang. We just improving the setup. We just improving the setup. Nubian one, toy. Let's good. This is the morning crew, man. Listen. We about to have another good one, man. It's a lot going on. I don't know if you guys saw. I posted a video last night. Right? Get your coffee, man. Cat Williams in the building. I posted a video last night. It's about it's an interesting one. It's called A Therapist and a Counselor Talk to Drake. So check that one out. I just put that video up. About 2 in the morning, gang. So lock in with that one. All right. Also, man, listen, there is a lot going on in the world. I don't know if you guys saw or heard that your boy, some people are upset about this, right? Some people are upset about this. But we're going to talk about it. Me and you, we're going to have this conversation. I don't know how you guys feel about Tupac and Snoop, right? I don't know how you guys feel about it, but there is a new video right now. It shows Tupac using I want to say AI version of Snoop, right? I'm sorry, a AI version of Tupac, and Snoop is showing Tupac as some heavenly wings, and some people are a little upset about it. Well, I found out why Tupac is reuniting with Snoop. Let's talk about that. Let me see who else on the check-in. Whole lot of comments coming in. Toy in the building. Tiffany, Flash Burnt, good morning. Priscilla, Cornell. I got a cousin named Cornell, but his name Carnell. Callie knows best. Damon, listen, bro. We're going to have a good show because this is so much going on that we're going to talk about, right? We locked in. But so apparently some people are upset that they feel like Tupac and Snoop didn't get along in real life. And they feel like Snoop sometimes trots Pac out to get a little cultural cachet, right? Hold up, gang. Hold up. I knew something wasn't right. Hold on, gang. All right, that's better. That's more better. All right, gang. Had to get this lighting right in here. We still working. We still working. All right, there we go. That looks much better. I hope that's a little better. But listen, a lot of people feel like Snoop pulls Pac out for a little cultural cachet, right? And some people weren't feeling this little situation, this video clip of Snoop kind of bringing out Pac with this AI situation. So they were kind of on his head, but now we find out that what's going on with the Snoop and Tupac situation is that they're in a video game together. Okay, there's a new video game coming out, and Pac is in this video game with Snoop. So I want to have this conversation because a lot of people are upset about it. Let's see how you feel about it. So it's a game called Stranger Than Heaven, right? And I'm gonna show you a screenshot of what's going on because they're putting Tupac in this video game, right? It's called Stranger Than Heaven, and we're gonna have this conversation. All right, let's see what's going on because I don't even know what's going on. Tupac and Snoop, right? Where is it at? It's right here. Tupac makes a surprising appearance as a character in Sega's upcoming video game, Stranger Than Heaven. On June 5th, Sega put out the trailer for the upcoming game release. The late rap icon is revealed at the end of the game's new trailer as Amaru. The name of his character is a nod to the rapper's middle name, which came from the 18th century Peruvian rebel Tupac Amaru II. His estate signed off on the use of his likeness. Snoop Dogg announced the reveal at the Summer Game Fest 2026. According to the Dogfather, his son Cordell Brodus, and Tupac's estate work closely together, and that Pac's likeness and spirit lives on. Snoop and his son Cordell Brodus will appear in the game. So they're all going to appear in the game with Pac, and his family approved of it, gang. So let me continue. Quote, "It just made sense to put him in the game," Snoop said. "I feel like it was so connected to what we're doing." Stranger Than Heaven is an action-adventure crime drama that follows Makoto Daioto, a half-Japanese, half-American orphan searching for a home in Japan while navigating crime, music, and personal destiny. Fans wanting to play the game will have to wait a while. It doesn't arrive until January 27, 2027. The game will be available on PS5, Xbox Series X, and on PC. Check out Tupac Shakur in the new Stranger Than Heaven video game trailer and watch Snoop Dogg talking about making it happen. So I don't know how you guys feel about that. Let me check the comments and see, but his family approved of it. Now we all know that when right around the time Pac died, right? Tupac and Pac were not seen eye to eye. Now, we could say it was, all right, so put it like this. We could say it was petty, or we could say it was justified for Pac to be upset with Snoop. Let me get to Sosa Super Chat. Daz is Snoop's cousin, and he even admitted Snoop ain't like Pac. Dude been moving on West Coast like for recent years. Appreciate you for the Super Chat. So let's talk about that. We all remember the story because Snoop keeps telling the story about how he was coming home on the plane. I believe they were on a private jet coming home from, I believe it may have been New York. I'm not sure where they were coming from, but Snoop had said something positive about Biggie and Diddy, right? I believe it was on the radio. And you know that Tupac was in a full-on war of words with Diddy and Biggie. And I believe that when Snoop was asked about his relationship with Diddy and Biggie, and if he had a problem with them, Snoop said he didn't have no problem. He still got love for Diddy and Biggie, which infuriated Pac, right? And at that point, Pac had decided he was not going to speak to Tupac at that time. So allegedly, to Snoop at that time. So allegedly, according to Snoop, when he got on the plane with the whole death row, Suge, Tupac, and everyone else, no one would say a word to him, and he was in fear for his life. And what had happened, he said he grabbed one of the knives, right, and put it under his jacket, I believe, or whatever, under his shirt or his jacket, and he sat in the back on pins and needles, thinking that he would get jumped or disciplined by someone or all of the death row artists and entourage, right? He said he didn't end up having to use that knife, but he was afraid for his life on that plane. And him and Pac, I believe, got off that plane on bad terms. And I don't think they ever really talked again. I'm not sure, but I believe that may have been the flight to Vegas or wherever they went. And Snoop didn't end up hanging out with them that night. I'm not sure if it was the same night. I'm not sure. But I'm almost certain that Snoop and Pac did not make up before Pac passed. I think, somebody could correct me if I'm wrong, I think Snoop went to the hospital before Pac passed. I'm almost certain that happened. I can't say for sure. But I do remember that they hadn't really fully made up when Pac had passed. Now, some people could argue, yeah, they were going to, eventually they would have worked it out. You could argue that. And you could say that Snoop didn't have no problem with Biggie and Diddy, so why should he take on that problem? Some people are going to argue that. But in Pac's eyes at the time, Pac was in a full-on war with the people that he thought tried to have him erased. So some people look at it like, you turned your back on Pac when he needed you the most. Now, let's be honest, a lot of that beef, when we look back, right, we can say, okay, Pac may have had it wrong of who shot him, right? We can say that, right? And CNI said, yeah, Charles, Snoop said he did, went to the hospital. So Snoop did go to the hospital. But a lot of people got issues with a lot of Snoop's takes on these stories with Pac. And the story that they got a problem with the most is the encounter with Nas in, I believe it may have been Central Park, if I'm not mistaken, right? And Toy said, you right, he didn't get to make amends before he died. So a lot of people have an issue with Snoop lately having these stories. Some of them are feel-good stories, but people are like, you guys weren't even getting along when Pac died. And the story about Nas in Central Park, when Tupac and Death Row were in New York, and they met Nas in the park to discuss some things, because Tupac was about to diss Nas, and he wanted to let Nas know, listen, I like you. Don't say nothing when this diss come out, right? Don't respond, and they talked it out, and Pac was like, don't respond. I'm not going to carry no further. I'm going to leave it at that. It's already recorded, this, that, and the third, allegedly. Now, Nas said that Pac said he was going to erase the diss, right? If I'm not mistaken, I believe Nas said he was going to erase, that Pac told Nas that he was going to erase the diss. Some stories say that Pac told him, don't say nothing when the diss come out, right? So, end of the day, Pac and Nas had met in the park. Now, the recounting of the story, according to Snoop, is that Pac was talking real reckless to Nas, but Nas was like a G. He sat there, even though, according to Snoop, Pac was outnumbered in New York, and all Nas had to do was push the button. And Snoop said he looked around, he saw nothing but New York dudes, Nas's people. And he said that Nas showed great restraint, letting Pac talk to him kind of crazy, because he could have easily marked them all out right there. Now, that infuriated a lot of people, some who were there, some weren't. I watched many West Coast guys speak on this. There's a lot of guys who rode with Pac at the time that say, no, this is not how that happened. They said they had a lot of dudes from Jersey with them, with Death Row and Suge, that was ready to crash out. This is, I believe it was Napoleon and Young Noble both said it was different. And I know last year, Young Noble had a diss record for Nas. I believe it was last year, early last year. Sometime in the beginning, I believe, because I did a video on it. And he said Nas has been talking crazy, but Nas really didn't say much about it. But they've been saying that this whole situation about the Park meeting is fabricated, and Snoop was really scary at the meeting, and he didn't see that Death Row had Nas outnumbered. So it's a whole lot going on with Snoop and Tupac. They think that a lot of people are feeling like Snoop is rewriting the story, right? And they feel like Snoop, they quote unquote be lying. They say Snoop be lying. And they say Snoop was disloyal at that meeting in the park because he was acting scared. He wasn't even at front. According to them, they like, how you see it, Snoop, when you were off to the side on some cowardly lying shit. So this is what people are saying about the Snoop. That's just one instance of how people think Snoop and Pac relationship was. Now, they do have the record together, iconic record, 2 of America's Most Wanted. And there is stories that Tupac would not have signed to Death Row without Snoop's okay. Snoop says he okayed when Suge said, how you feel about signing Tupac? And Snoop approved. He said, we already the biggest thing in the game. This just gonna make us bigger. So there are clashing stories about what Snoop and Tupac's relationship was. Let me get to the super chat. Sosa, salute to the super chat, Sosa. I appreciate you. He said, Pac knew Jimmy Henchman and Haitian Jack got him shot up in quad. Listen to Against All Odds. He did. And that's the thing. You got to understand. Let's put it in perspective. Pac knew who did it, but he also felt that Biggie and Diddy knew. Now, we in layman's terms, we didn't know what was going on. So we took Pac at his word that Diddy and Biggie set him up. Well, some of us did. But a lot of people, first of all, a lot of people were like, why would they set him up? It didn't make no sense, right? So then as it came out, even though Pac was spazzing, he was in jail going crazy, and he was saying this, that, and the third, as the story started to come out, right? We started to hear that it was more forces involved with Tupac's shooting at Quad Studios. And that was over some stuff, some street stuff that Pac had got himself into, and Biggie had told him not to get himself into that. Now, you got to look at it from, let's look at it from Snoop's point of view in a way. He's probably looking at it like, you guys got a whole beef going on over something that doesn't have anything to do with me, for one, and for two, it's a misunderstanding, because the word is the guys that did this to you were trying to teach you a lesson. And Snoop is like, I'm not getting into the middle of that, because for one, you guys might make up and then I'm out here, you know what I mean? And for two, I'm not going to take sides in the situation. He's looking at it like, which it is what it is, right? He's looking at it like, I'm still trying to have a good relationship in this rap thing. And I'm Snoop Dogg, and I don't want to have problems on my head that I didn't start, right? See, and I said, I didn't believe Big set him up at the time, me either, but I never ruled out Puffy being shiesty. Now, the more we know about Diddy, back then, most of us said, Diddy would have did nothing, da-da-da. But the more you really, once you learn about Diddy, you watch the documentary and how jealous Diddy was of Biggie's relationship with Tupac. Diddy could have literally known and not said nothing, gang. I'm just gonna be honest. Diddy could have literally known. So I can't take nothing from it. All right. Primetime said, didn't Snoop kick the buildings? He did. That's a whole thing. So Snoop can't say he's 100% absolved of the New York beef too. But when they asked Snoop about Biggie and Diddy, he said, I got no problem with him. Right? Primetime, that was the New York video. They said they only kicked them buildings. They said, now let me be honest. Primetime. Primetime said in the New York. Now let's keep it a buck. Snoop said they only kicked down them buildings in New York on that video because when they went, right? And this is the crazy thing that Pac is probably tripping off. Because when they went to New York, Biggie got on the radio when Snoop and them was filming, Snoop and Daz and them was filmed in New York. They was filming in New York. Biggie got on the radio and said, New York, y'all gonna let them disrespect New York and film a music video and y'all ain't gonna do nothing. So when Biggie said that, dudes went down to the video shoot in New York and shot it up. So Snoop said they wasn't the song. I never believed that the song New York was paying homage to New York. I never believed that. But they were saying that the video was paying homage to New York. But when they shot up the video shoot at Biggie's behest, he said that's when they did another video kicking down the buildings in New York. Okay. So it's a whole mess. And Biggie and Snoop has been playing both sides. And a lot of people feel like in that Pac situation, Snoop played both sides. He wanted to be cool in New York, but he wanted to diss New York at the same time. So it is what it is, right? Done Deal said Puffy wanted to be Pac. Yeah, he wanted to be Pac and he knew he could never be Pac, especially if you watch the documentary. Diddy wasn't like that in the slightest, but he looked at Pac's respect and his relationship with Biggie, and he was envious of it. Let's just be honest. So you can pretty much see there was some friction with Diddy, right? There was some friction. TJ Source, salute. I hope y'all caught that interview with me and TJ Source. He said they did that after the shooting. Correct. So people have always had a funny taste in their mouth about Snoop. And I didn't really learn how funny it was until about the last 4 or 5 years, for really the last 3. Because it has become clear. Like people didn't feel this way. Like I'm telling you, they kind of dabbled on it with Snoop, but it really reached a fever pitch with Snoop and people having a problem with Snoop and his rehashing of what Pac meant to him. That didn't really come up till the last 4 or 5 years. That became you got to think Pac died to, gang, you know what I'm saying? He died in what, 96, right? People went almost, damn, they went 20-something years without really having a lot of smoke for Snoop. But it really the smoke came really in the last 5, 6 years, I'm gonna be honest, right? Can I ask, did Pac's mother ever really talk to Snoop? I don't know how Feeney felt about Snoop, to be honest. That's a good question. Flashburn, I don't really know of Feeney's relationship with Snoop, right? I can Google it, but it's probably gonna tell me much. I don't know how Feeney actually felt about Snoop. I'm gonna be honest. Somebody in the chat could tell me. All right, Q said, and mind you, Tupac was there for Snoop at his trial, and that's why Dr. Dre didn't even show up. He said, and that's why. Oh, okay. Dr. Dre didn't even show up for Snoop's trial. Yep. Prime said, can't really take Snoop at his word. The man was at the source talking crazy with a machete in his hand. Yeah, it's a lot going on. All right. It was a lot going on. Tiff said that thing about Afeni and Snoop is a good question. I don't know. I really don't know. But end of the day, Snoop coming out now with this He had an AI image, not AI. It was a well, it was AI, but it was a 3D image of Pac at his show. Had wings on Pac. People got offended. I told you in the last 5 years, people not having it. They feel like Snoop is rewriting history, and it seemed like I used to. Let me say this. All right. Let me be a buck with you guys. I'm gonna be a buck with you guys. I'm gonna be a buck. I went years, gang, 30 years, no problems with Snoop. I really didn't have no issues with Snoop. I didn't look at Snoop as a liar. I wasn't saying, damn, every time Snoop opened his mouth, he lying, da, da, da. It's only been the last 4 or 5 years that you started to actually, in my opinion, really question Snoop. Because Snoop even put out Snoop lying and all. Like everybody let Snoop just be Snoop. Right? It's only been, and we've been getting a lot of revisionist history. We've been getting a lot of stuff come back up in the form of memes and shorts, stuff with Biggie and Snoop and Pac, and a lot of stuff is coming to light. We're looking at it differently now, right? We're looking at it differently now. And now you can see some of Snoop's stuff inconsistent, some of it. We're seeing Snoop running death row worse than Suge. So you start to think, like, is Snoop actually petty? You know what I mean? Is Snoop kind of like, we thought that Snoop was one guy. We thought Snoop was this. And it turned out Snoop is not what we thought. He was riding with us for a minute, then he turned on us with, like Bala said, performed for Trump. People saying it was because he owed Harry O a favor, and Harry O owed Trump a favor because I believe he pardoned him or something. Some people say he did, but I don't think I think that might play a part in it. But Snoop is just grabbing bags at this point. And we're looking at Snoop, he'll do anything for the bag, right? So it feel like Snoop gonna do music, he gonna do clothing, he gonna sell smokeless ovens, he gonna do whatever for that bag, right? And we start to question him, and especially in the last 5 years. And so when you start, and a lot of people have been going on Art of Dialogue, telling the stories about Snoop and Tupac's real history, and you know what I mean? So I don't know. Right now we got a lot of questions to be answered. Like I said, he's running death row worse than Suge. Daz and everybody else is saying we're not getting $1. No one's getting paid. He tried to allegedly, according to Daz, he tried to underpay him for beats on the Dog Pound album and didn't even want to use his beats. He told all these producers that Daz is not going to be a part of this Dog Pound. Imagine Daz not being a part of the Dog Pound album. This is according to Daz. He could do the raps, but he can't do the beats because he didn't want to pay Daz. According to Daz, he charges more than a brand new producer in the game. Somebody just trying to get on might throw Snoop them beats for free just to say they did it. But Snoop was paying them, but Daz said they were lowballing, right? So he said Snoop don't even want to pay the veterans of the label. I did a whole video on Snoop about 2-3 months ago saying that Snoop's label, the way he's running Death Row is worse than Suge. He allegedly, according to Nate Dogg's, I believe Nate Dogg's son, he thinks Snoop Dogg came in to his house, to his grandmother's house, because Nate Dogg's masters were allegedly at his grandmother's house, and they think Snoop came in and sweet talked grandma and took the masters. Now Snoop is claiming he don't have them, and Nate Dogg's, I believe his brother, claiming he don't have them, and the son is like, who got the masters? So there's a lot going on over at the new Death Row, right? The artists, the legendary artists not getting paid, some of them not being called back to perform at all. Some of them are very outspoken against Snoop. Danny Boy and like I said, Daz, and Corrupt over there is sick. He not saying much because he's sick. And it's just not being handled right, according to people who are affiliated with the new Death Row, right? You would think Snoop would get it after all that shit he talked about Suge, that he would get it and do it right. Nope, they're saying Snoop is penny pinching. He throwing a lot of young dudes on there. He not talking to dudes. And he just said, I saw a video where he told Daz he was going to F him up. Because Daz keep talking out his mouth crazy, talking about this money that he ain't getting from Snoop. So there's a whole lot going on. And I would have never expected Snoop, because I remember when Snoop was on the cover of that magazine begging people to get him out of his deal, right? Begging people to get him out of pretty much the whole Suge Knight situation. And the only person that stepped up was Master P, because he wasn't scared of Suge Knight. He like, why would I? I'm Master P. I'm from the hood just like you. We're going to sit down and talk about this like men. And Master P got Snoop out of that horrifying deal that Suge Knight had him locked in. Snoop was on the cover. I think it might have been Source Double XL, one of them magazines, maybe Vibe, but I think it was Source. And he was begging. He was saying, I am flat broke. I didn't know the business when I got in it. I don't know how to tour. I don't know how to set up shows. I need help. Somebody. I was flabbergasted to read that article, and it stuck with me to this day. Damn near 30 years later, right? And Snoop was on the cover of that magazine, begging for help, and Master P helped him. So I'm like, he did a couple albums with Master P. He said Master P taught him the game. He owed his life to Master P. So why then would you get Death Row, the same label that had you enslaved? And you know, dude's money is harder to come by now that dude's is older. Why would you get Death Row and act like that, right? And who was it? Was it Danny Boy that said Snoop put the fake Death Row chain on him in the video shoot? So he said, I got a video. He put the chain, Danny Boy, I believe he's sitting there in the video. Snoop take the chain off his neck. I believe it's Danny Boy. He put the chain on his neck and clipped it and all that. And it's in the video. Danny Boy said he went to get the chain appraised and the chain was worthless. I think it was Danny Boy that said this. So Snoop got a lot of explaining to do, right? Snoop got a lot of explaining to do. Gang, it's a lot going on with the new Death Row, right? So, needless to say, if Pac was around, it wouldn't be going down like this, but he not. The Journey said, and he did, and then he turned around and sold them. So what you saying, Journey? He sold Nate Dogg's masters, or he sold everybody's masters, right? I'm not sure. Miss Hummer said, damn, Snoop shady as F. I had no idea about all this. Oh, yeah. There's a lot going on with Snoop and this new Death Row. I had did a video on it. The video did pretty well, but it's like not a lot of people are talking about how shady Snoop has been with this new Death Row, gang. I'm just going to be honest. Hot Flashburn said, Snoop giving everyone a Death Row chain is crazy. CNI said, Danny Boy said, I could have been killed for this game chain. That's the thing, man. When he said that about the chain, I'm like, well, I don't know. If you feel like you're in danger of your life with the chain, whether it's real or not, maybe you shouldn't wear the chain at all. But yeah, so Soldier said fake Death Row chain. So imagine Snoop had the chain on. And let's be honest, some of these guys wear fake stuff for liability reasons. But come on, you Snoop, dog. And don't put it around his neck all sexy and shit. Like, you got to see the video. He put the joint around his neck like, yeah, like knowing it's fake. It's weird, man. It's weird. Salute the Geo Blame said respect from Malaysia. Malaysia in the house, gang. We got muscles, man. We moving. Salute the Geo Blame. Distinct Lady Dree said Snoop has always been shady and out for self. Well, I told you, he did that interview where he was down on the luck. He couldn't feed his family. I think Snoop from that moment on took an oath to be 100% self to preserve himself. I think that's what happened. Danny Boy said at least Suge took care of them better. So that says a lot. And that's crazy where you're saying Suge Knight was a better label owner, gang. It's so crazy. So to now see Tupac linked up with Snoop on a video game, people are going to have questions. And the Tupac estate has blocked a lot of stuff. Now, they got to have a good rapport with Snoop, because Snoop is all in this video game. That he's in it, his son in it, and Tupac's in it, right? And apparently they sweet talk Tupac's estate to approve this video game, Stranger Than Heaven. Now they must got a nice bag, and their job, let's be honest, is to secure things for that estate, right? So they keep his name alive by securing him and profitable ventures, right? So they must like Snoop and believe Snoop. Let's just be honest. So that's what it is. If you wanted to know, you're like, what's Challz talking about Snoop and Tupac reunited? Well, they're reunited in this game, and the game is coming out in January 2027. It's approved by Snoop, approved by the Tupac estate. So even though we may feel like Snoop has been moving funny, yeah, but the Tupac's estate deemed it. I don't know who's running Tupac estate. Is it Mo Preem? I don't know, but there's been a lot of talk about Snoop and his relationship to Tupac, and is he using Tupac for cultural cachet? And I think to a degree he is, right? Miss Summer says no mods in here. Hit that like button. Nobody talking crazy, is it? Hopefully. OGT Bella said my 19-year-old daughter watched that Pac stuff live and said it was pure confusion in the chat. Didn't go over well at all. Oh, so it was a chat about the video game and the Pac fans went nuts in there. I can see that. I can see that. The Journey said the new Death Row is a label trap for new upcoming artists that don't know any better. Yeah, it's a guaranteed. It's a honey trap. You hear Death Row, you want to relive that. Shit, I was from the East Coast and would have took a crack at Death Row at one point in the beginning of it. So everybody wanted to be signed to Death Row at some point. So Snoop gonna get all these new people and older people who really got this mystique. He gonna get them running in hand over fist, and he gonna be able to get them. Snoop gonna be Snoop, right? Miss Tiny says Snoop has got to be getting more out of this than we think. A lot more. And listen, he got all the masters allegedly from that, unless he sold them, like Journey said. But we'll see. Q Smooth said the dude name is Tom Whaley. He is a white man that owned Tupac estate. So apparently this is news to me. I didn't know Tom Whaley. Somebody else wrote that in the chat too. I didn't know that Tom Whaley was running Tupac estate. That's different. So let's be honest. Let's just call it a buck. Snoop knows how to smooze. These white business owners, gang. Snoop been moving. He know how to smooth. He's up with Martha Stewart and everybody else. Snoop is on the Olympics, so Snoop has a real good rapport. So he could talk his way into a room, gang. So yeah. So now they probably approached him with the game, and he said, "Yep." So end of the day, right? Cool said in the building, said Chicago checking in from the Chi. I'm on my way to the Chi, man. It's beautiful out there. I keep looking at it. I got people asking me to come out there. I'm gonna go. Y'all got some good food in Chicago. I'm gonna be out there real soon, 100%. But that's it about Snoop, man. That's all I got about Snoop. There's a video game, and there's a lot of controversy with Snoop and Pac, and that's where we are. Let me keep it pushing, right? I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this guy right here. Once again, he's out here doing what he does. He's mad. Lil Baby dissed him. Lil Baby took shots at Akademiks, and Akademiks clapped back. Lil Baby made a video, right? He continues to take shots, and the hip-hop commentator is not standing for any of it. This is by Alexander Cole on hotnewhiphop.com. DJ Akademiks and Lil Baby haven't been seeing eye to eye these days. The two have not gotten along. And Ak has been begging his favorite rappers to keep Baby off their songs. That's true. He went crazy, told Drake to keep him off Iceman, and I don't believe he's on there. Y'all can tell me I don't remember. Lil Baby doesn't like Akademiks either, which has led to a mutual rivalry of sorts that doesn't appear to be slowing down anytime soon. Having said that, Lil Baby was recently out in Atlanta where he could be seen shooting some sort of music video. During the video, Baby uses the bar F Akademiks and that N-word, the feds. This is an accusation that has been thrown at Ak in the past. However, with Lil Baby leveling the allegation, Ak decided to respond with a bit of force. All right. Half of the Atlanta rappers documented on audio tape telling to cops, including half the N-words he still called twin. Is this N-word stupid? If I'm the feds, Young Thug, the lieutenant, I report to him. Gang, let's just be honest. Hold up, gang. Hold up. We gonna do this, gang. We gonna do this, gang. We gonna do this, right? Journey said Tom doesn't care anything about Tupac's legacy. That's why he owns it. All right, man. We gonna do this, man. We gonna do this. Now I know that we all have a sort of a disdain for Akademiks, and we see why people come at him, right? And with good reason, they should come at him. Akademiks is very, he's toxic, he's slimy, this, that, and the third. But what he just said, sorry, Atlanta, sorry. But what I just said, gang, we're going to acknowledge this. He said half of Atlanta rappers documented on audio talking to cops and telling the cops, including half the N-words that he calls twin. He said, if I'm the feds, Young Thug, the lieutenant, and I report to him. Gang, right? Priscilla said, can I get slapped again? It was Lil Baby's man who slapped that. It was Lil Baby's man who slapped that. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, right? And you right, Journey. Dumb and dumb are fighting. We can't really call Lil Baby dumb, though. They say he said he got straight A's in school. Lil Baby said he was on an honor roll. Right? But he don't portray that in his music. But he said half Atlanta's telling, and Young Thug is the lieutenant of the police force. Gang, there is audio tape of Young Thug saying this, that, and the third. And believe it, like him or not, Tekashi 6ix9ine low-key made a point when he went down and sat down with homeboy, what's homeboy's name over there? I can't remember his name right now. Y'all can tell me in the chat. But he sat down with homeboy, I can't remember his name, Big Bank. I think it's Big Bank. The podcaster. He's a big fan. He's a big friend to Atlanta artists, and I believe he's based in Atlanta. Salute to Big Bank. He's doing his thing. No issues with Big Bank, right? But he sat down with Tekashi and they were having it out about the snitching allegations. And Tekashi low-key handled his business because he kind of said, well, I'm the snitch, but low-key, we got video of thugs saying stuff to cops, and we got paperwork here of 21 Savage saying stuff to cops, and we got evidence of quite a few other guys saying things to cops from the A. And at the end of the day, right, Big Bank really couldn't argue with him no more. And apparently, allegedly, Big Bank went home and the interview went so bad, he had to kind of start allegedly walking back some of his support for those same artists. So I don't know, gang, what happened, but Akademiks at this point is making the case that if I'm the feds, then your whole city is bugging out, right? I have no dog in the fight, but I think that's funny because let's be honest, we're still talking about this snitching stuff. Remember they tried to say streets is dead or some shit? After streets. And when it came out, it was a real big deal. 21 Savage came out with this F the streets. And I did a whole video on how it was all a fraud. Right? The sentiment, it was right message, wrong messengers. Right? Wrong messengers. Because I felt like a lot of that stuff was for show. I felt like it was a contrived movement to try to throw off the scent of what they were going through because they were about to get indicted. And it felt like it was just to try to bring a different message because the music wasn't moving. But I'm like, you guys say some heinous stuff in your raps, right? And you've been saying that stuff since you got in the game. And all of a sudden it's F the streets. It didn't smell right. It felt weird. It felt like a move that was to kind of promote a narrative that they really didn't believe. It just felt contrived. And out of nowhere, it was F the streets. And I get the sentiment, what you're trying to say, but they weren't really trying to say that. And to me, when I heard F the streets, I'm like, wait, but the streets, we still, it ain't, first of all, everybody in the streets ain't bad. And everybody that happened to live in the ghetto don't mean F them, okay? Don't mean, like, we got a lot of good people in the ghetto. There's only a handful of people that's doing the crime in the ghetto, gang. So you got to clarify when you say F the streets, people grandmothers still live in the streets, people moms, people aunts and uncles. Like, it don't mean just everybody in the streets is bad. So that right there, I had a problem with the F the streets campaign. I thought it was bullshit. Just gonna be honest with you. So a lot of that stuff was contrived, and where is it now? Like, I don't know. Like, you need, if you're gonna make a movement, make a real movement. Don't make it a hashtag. And a lot of those people that was jumping on it, I didn't believe that they were really out of the streets. I didn't believe it. These are the same guys that right after the F the streets ran up on this, that, and the third. You kept hearing about people getting ran up on. Right? So it's like, it was, and then you got these people who still, like I was going to say, with this little babies calling him the feds, right? Is it F the streets or is it watch out for snitches? And like, what we talking about? Like, it's like, you know what I mean? So now you're going to call them the feds. Now we still talking about who's snitching. But when it came to these guys being on tape snitching, crickets, right? And they had a lot of excuses, like Tekashi was saying. It's different, right? So end of the day, man, I feel like when we still getting into these somebody snitching, this, that, and the third, we're missing the point of what's going on. We're missing the point of what's going on. Right? The Journey said, you can't support anybody who lives for the streets. No, you should not be, definitely not living for the streets. But you got to understand there's a balance, right? Like, you can still be in the streets and be a good person and do the right thing, get a job, work hard, da-da-da. It don't got to be this whole, you got to say, what's in the streets you're mad about, right? F violence, right? Say that, F drugs, F guns. The streets is more than just crime, gang, right? It's like I said, it's good people going to work every day. They may happen to live in a bad community, right? End of the day. Couch Potatoes said, all this talk about, all this snitch talk, nobody wants to talk about Aubriana taking hip hop to court. That's the whole thing. He really has it. He really pulled out a RICO and pulled a lot of streamers in it and a lot of other people. He wanted to know Kendrick's whole history about going to what he ever done criminally. So it's a lot going on. So it's a slippery slope, is all we're saying. It's a slippery slope, right? It's a slippery slope when we start pointing at snitches, right? It's just say that. When we start this nonsense about who told this, that, third, all these dudes told in one way or another. If you look at the history, all right. So let me keep this put, just like the whole Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Man thing, right? It's a slippery slope, and I ain't got enough time to go down that whole thing. Okay. Now let's talk about somebody who just said currently they are in prison, but they kind of shocked people by saying they're about to get out. Salute to Souza. Drake is 100% snitching. Yeah, I've said that on my videos. I want to talk about this guy because people were completely thrown aback when this kid said that he's getting out. People didn't want to believe it. And I don't know if I believe it, right? I want to read this article and have this conversation. But TayK, y'all remember TayK, that kid, the race kid, right? They're saying that homeboy he's trying to say he's coming home, right? Let me get this picture up here so I can show you what has transpired. This kid been locked up for a minute. I'm gonna read the article, but let me get to it. Let me get to it. I want to get this picture up here so you guys can see what's popping, right? All right. So apparently TayK, the kid that went to prison, he's in jail right now. He appears to respond to rumors of his immediate release. Don't know if it's true. He was sentenced to prison, to be in prison till 2099. Right? So what happened? This mugshot came up. Right? This mugshot of TayK came up. And now, when that went viral, people started to question why. So let me read this article on Hot New Hip Hop by Alexander Cole. TayK is currently in prison till 2099. However, there have been numerous accounts online peddling theories of his release. He's an artist who burst on the scene in 2017 with the hit song The Race. Overall, it was a massive viral hit at the time, especially when you consider the lore surrounding the track. He was actually on the run. He was facing a home invasion and murder charge, and in the end, he was convicted of both and was set to hit 135 years in prison. And he wouldn't get out till he was 99 years old. However, there has been some erroneous online rumors suggesting that TayK will be freed. And in fact, some blogs have run with the idea that TayK is going to be released imminently. On Monday, the artist received new mugshots. Subsequently, his Twitter account became active, posting a 2-word message. It's true. Okay? X and other platforms have been a steady source of misinformation for over a decade, and this TayK situation is no exception, right? Rumors of his release are completely unsubstantiated. Authorities have not hinted at no such thing. So this whole thing about TayK coming home and him getting on Twitter saying it's true, it has yet to be substantiated. So you guys can calm down, because they don't think that TayK is really coming home. Somebody does have a Twitter, but anybody can make a Twitter. All right. So we don't know. Just for you people asking about TayK, this is the other thing I want to talk about right here. Right? I know quite a few of you already know what happened with Adam22 and Lena the Plug, right? A lot of people ran with the story that they were divorced, right? When I heard the full story, I heard her explain, and I'm going to tell you people who Lena the Plug is and who Adam22 is, right? Some of you may not know what's going on with this story, but when I heard them explain, when I heard her explain this story, gang, I'm just going to be honest. When I heard her explain this story, I was like, yeah, I don't know about this. I don't know about this. This ain't setting right. It kind of sounded weird. I'm just going to be honest, right? Let me bring this thing. This thing is tripping. It kind of sounded weird. And for some reason, people believed it. I can't get this damn picture. Hold on. People believed it. All right. They believed that Adam22 and his wife Lena were getting a divorce, and it was over this guy, the adult film star, right? This picture giving me fits right now. Hold on, gang. I just want to bring this up for you so we can all understand what's going on. So this is Adam22. He runs the website. I mean the YouTube page No Jumper, and he's been married to Lena for quite some time, right? And he let his wife, they're an adult film situation, and he let his wife appear in an adult film with a black man, right? And people thought he was crazy for doing that, and it went on for a while. They had a bunch of skits and things of that nature, and I guess they made their money, and for a time it was good, right? So what happened last week is the news kicked off that she filed for divorce, right? A lot of people ran with the story, this, that, and the third. I didn't speak on it. I was thinking about it, but I never got to it, right? But let me read this article, because what happened was, when she explained what really happened, because they were playing into it. They were cracking jokes online. They were kind of like being very coy about it. Now, that right there is a red flag, with them cracking jokes and being coy about it. And they're known to do pranks. Adam22 did a whole prank last year where he was supposedly questioned by the FBI over, I believe it was I'm not sure who, one of the situations with the guys from the show, right? And he made it like he was about to be arrested and all this, and it turned out to be, he said, catch me live and I'm gonna explain it. Turned out to be fake. So Adam22 has a penchant for making, he does fake things for views and clicks. So let me read this. Last week, Lena the Plug allegedly filed for divorce from Adam22, although things took a turn when it was revealed to be fake. Adam and Lena have been living together for almost a decade and have been married for 3 years. They even have a 5-year-old child together, further solidifying their commitment to one another. Last week, a divorce was filed with Lena's name on it. This led to widespread confusion and discourse on social media. Many assumed it was real until Akademiks suggested it might be fake or perhaps a stalker. Lena the Plug eventually came out and confirmed as much, saying that a crazy stalker was behind the filing. This subsequently led to some accusations that perhaps the couple faked their own divorce and that they were the ones behind it. Over the weekend, Adam22 responded to those claims. He revealed that it was indeed a stalker who filed the claim. They had nothing to do with it. However, they did take advantage of the situation by pretending it was real for a couple of days. For them, the ensuing promo was worth it. Now, Adam went on his Twitter, and said, "We didn't fake the divorce. I was at work when Lena got this text. She knew it had to be a crazy stalker filing the paperwork with forged signatures right away. She wanted to debunk it immediately, but said we should let it ride and get a ton of free promo out of it. Hey, Adam," this is the text he posted. "Hey, Adam, this is Devin from TMZ. Sorry to be reaching out on this, but our court reporter just sent in documents that Lena just filed divorce documents. Just wanted to give you a heads up and see if you wanted to put out any statement we could include." Then he goes, Adam writes this, one word, one sentence. "Guess you got to post it." Right? Didn't explain it, didn't da-da-da. Then the guy goes, "Do you want us to include any statement from you?" Okay. So Adam wants us to believe they didn't fake it. Right? Now, let me just say this, for when I listen to her story, and I ain't spending too much time on this. When I listened to Lena's story, she said that the stalker went down to the courthouse, wrote a check, filed the paperwork, signed her name, wrote a check. When the papers got returned, when they mailed the stuff to her, and you guys live in California, you could tell me, or anywhere. She said they mailed her the papers. The courthouse mailed her the papers. And to the papers, they stamped a check, for a $400-something check with the stalker's name on the check. Okay? So they're telling us that the stalker went down to the courthouse, filed these papers in her name with all of her information. Her address, kid's name, Adam name, everything. And said that I only make $3,000, saying it was her, I only make $3,000 a month. Adam controls all the money in the OnlyFans. I don't got any money and I want custody, all this stuff. Right? The stalker had all of that information. According to Lena, the stalker had all of that information. Now, my only hang up is, don't you got to present ID when you file for divorce? I don't know, gang. You can ask me. I mean, you can answer me. You can tell me. Do you got to file with your ID when you file something as serious as divorce papers? Right? Lady said divorce paperwork don't work like that. She has to show identification. And not only that, gang. Not only that. Not only that. I'm almost certain you got to show your ID. But why would the stalker attach their own check with their address and everything? They're this smart to do all of this other stuff. Right? They're this smart to have all of their information. Let me just say this. Let's say the stalker did all that, had all the information, didn't need ID, wrote the check with her own. They're laughing about it. The stalker has your kid name, your address, in the wherewithal to go down to the court and pretend to be you. And your response is, I guess you got to let it ride and make jokes about it. Miss Tiny said the stalker is lying. No, they're lying. That's not how that goes. I'm divorced. I would know. No, it's Adam22 and Lena. They cooked this up. Right? OGT Bella, they ain't pressing charges or suing nobody. Well, Lena claims she told the cops and filed a report. She was way too calm. She did this video while she was doing her hair, like nothing was happening. I called the cops. They can't do anything because the paperwork is in my name. It just wasn't making no sense, gang. Right? Cookie said, yeah, that's not making any sense. Joy said they have to be notarized. Right? They have to be notarized. Can't just hand it in. And the notary has to see your ID, right? The notary has to see your ID too. Zombie TV said white people crazy. It's different, right? Done Deal said they planning to make a movie. Yeah, Flashburn says someone had my baby name like that. I'm crashing out. You're going to move heaven and earth to end that situation quickly because they playing with you. They know where you live. They could come there any moment. All right. Miss Tiny said, this is the dumbest criminals I've ever seen in my entire life. Bala said, I don't believe anything those two say. Journey said it's totally staged. Ladies T73, I've gone through a divorce, so the laws are not so different state to state. The only difference is the money for spousal support. There's a couple dead giveaways, and this thing about the check being sent back to Lena's house with the stalker's name and address. They said that the cops said maybe you can go after the stalker for identity theft. Maybe. Sound like a couple crimes in there. Sound like there's a couple crimes in there that the cops should be going after that person, right? It's too many holes in the story. And I would be up in arms. I wouldn't be like, you got to run it, TMZ. So we can deduce as a team, right? I think we could tell that this was a fake story. I think at this point we don't need to do any more detective work, right? Primetime said, I do think Lena was going to do it. Adam was probably going to go crazy, right? Diego just made it. Salute to Diego in the building. Melanator said, I feel so bad for their kid. Going to get roped into so much harmful crap from their antics like this. And they're going to train that kid to milk. They're going to train that kid to milk stuff for attention. I'm just going to be honest. Done Deal said, dropping a check for somebody else's divorce is nuts. OGT Bella said, no way you can impersonate someone in a government building and there aren't charges to file. I agree. Right? Couch Potato said, it's a murder mystery gang. It's a murder mystery gang. Listen, man, I'm about to get out of here, but that's all I got for the morning show today. A lot of Snoop talk, right? We got to that. We got to a lot of Tupac talk, and we got to Leonard the Plug. We got to your boy TayK. Had a good show, gang. I appreciate you guys tapping in once again. Episode 7 is in the books. Gang, I had fun with you guys once again. The setup is changing. We got a whole lot of new things going on. I hope y'all liking what's happening around here. And yeah, man, the morning show gonna thrive, and we're gonna do what we do. Let me end this off by saying head on over to black-yeti.com. Let them know who sent you. They ship all over the continental US. Every Wednesday night, I'm going live. The What Show, me, TJ, and Flares. I don't know if I'm gonna be going live this week, because it's vacation. I'm actually on vacation, low key right now. In and out, in and out, in and out. All right. So lock in. We might be here Wednesday night. I got a Patreon page now, gang. Tap into my Patreon. You can sign up for free over there. I'm gonna drop a Patreon video today, and I'm gonna drop a Patreon video tomorrow. And I'm always posting on there, so lock into the Patreon. And last but not least, we got an album called The What Project, me, TJ, and Flares. Lock into that. And I got a new video. I just started a new series called Legendary Interviews. The first interview is with TJ Soares, right? Me and TJ Soares got a real good interviews right on my channel. Go down into that very first episode of Legendary Videos. Tap in and watch that, all right? I'm out of here, gang. I'm gonna catch you on that flip side. And listen, have a good day, man. Enjoy your day, man. I'm gonna talk to y'all, and I'm out. Peace.
I need the whole left side. Every seat by the window. I need the whole back of the bus. Everybody, move over. You too. Slide your feet over. Everything by this window. I need this. All these seats. Move over. Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you. Look. He deserve an EGOT, he hot, colored like a peacock. Idiot, slapper, scrapper, mad rapper, D-dot. Bad dopper, clapper, bad rapper. 3 shots, lethal weapons, lethal injections through off your T-top. JFK smiling down through the treetops. Like hold your head, my nigga, wait for the beat drop. Old niggas wagging fingers like it's bebop. Cowboys and girls whistling world like it's teapots. My pen to make your arm heavy, G